Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Indy, and today we're going to be reviewing Tad, the Lost Explorer. When I received Tad, the Lost Explorer, I knew what I was getting myself into. It was obvious this wasn't going to be Nathan Drake clinging onto the side of a mountain in extreme conditions, showing the upper body strength of a god. It also wouldn't be a shootout in a mysterious ruin that would put Max Payne to shame. Nope, what we have here is more along the lines of a goofball that kind of stumbles and bumbles his way across platforms and traps and puzzles. The cartoonish kids game lets you know right away that you're in for a few laughs, a few puzzles, and some head-scratching thoughts of why are we even doing this? Well, the little parrot that pops out of the side of the screen is regularly asking these questions as well. Tad isn't the best of the best, but he's determined to make a name for himself. That's why we push on. That and the fact that some weird guy that refers to himself as the Shadow keeps telling him to do so. In the game, you'll run around in some open areas gathering brushes and collectibles, and to be honest, for what reason, I still have no idea. In these areas, you can check your map and see where you need to go by locating a little red pin on the map. It's kind of like, dropping a pin for your friend. There are basic side-scrolling areas where you don't need the map. You just move along and avoid any spider you see or bat by disposing of them with your trusty rubber ducky. Yes, you carry around a rubber ducky. I'm just saying, it's kind of a kid's game. So, anyways, reaching the end of each level will lead to Tad jumping into the air with a decent woohoo following. It's kind of like his little Glee moment. Like I said, things are pretty basic, but that doesn't make it a bad game. Tad certainly scratches the funny bone, if you have a sense of humor at all. It's okay to enjoy these simple things at times. I did enjoy the puzzles as well in the game, from switches to rotating objects to playing the matching game. Tad has some decent puzzles with a little variety. I'm pretty sure most kids these days can figure them out rather easily. Heck, kids these days would probably figure them out way quicker than me. Now, speaking of kids games, about halfway through, I had my son sit down and help me beat the second half of the game. We had a few laughs and some moments of why would they make this so difficult. And yes, I'm looking at you, the boat chase level. I mean, jeez, that was ridiculous. I did this for two reasons. First, I wanted to see his thoughts on the game. And second, I wanted to see if he had the same problems, with the controls as I did. Well, he did enjoy the game. He said it was funny. He said the puzzles had, they were decent, but he was confused, as well, why the boat chase had to be such a pain. Then, he clearly didn't like the controls. It was quite obvious from all the falling, that he was having the same issues that I was having. See, while Tad the Lost Explorer is a nice kids game, the controls, they're just not very good. The camera rotation can be a pain, swinging around wildly, while the jump button seemed to have a mind of its own at times. This would lead to running straight off platforms, and it happened quite often. It would also cause, overshooting platforms or immediately coming back and falling off because, the other controls seem quite responsive when you're trying to adjust, but, This itself was a very frustrating part of the game. If you're going to have a game where you're jumping from platform to platform, it's a big part. If that's a big part of the game, then you need the jump button to work properly. And quite frankly, this is a big problem, coupled with Tad getting stuck in animation in these jumps as well. The overall game itself looks pretty good, even though it's quite plain with its cartoonish look. The cutscenes, if you can call it that, were kind of a comic book style with voiceover work. Not sure why they couldn't add voices to the other characters in the game, because there wasn't really that many. You did, however, get to play as a few other characters that had their own jump styles, like double jumping and things like that. It was a cool little break up in the game, I guess, to try and keep you from getting bored. Well, the levels, they are not long at all, so there really isn't much time to get bored with the game. So I would say you could probably finish the 18 levels in a few sittings, like that. You probably won't beat it in the first sitting, even though I think you probably could if you really are really good at this game. But it all depends on how many times you fall or you get caught during that dang boat chase, which, by the way, as much as I grief if I'm giving the boat chase, it was actually pretty fun. Tad the Lost Explorer was a game that definitely had me, well, I wouldn't say outside my comfort zone, but it's not something that I play, often. I don't usually really enjoy these types of games, which, to my surprise, was funny when I did. The humor side of the game made me chuckle at times, and, I couldn't help but root for the underdog Tad. He wasn't really the bumbling, fumbling idiot everyone made him out to be. The real highlight was playing the game with my son, and getting his thoughts on the game as well. In the end, we both had the same feelings about the game. It was a fun game that is ultimately held back by the controls and the occasional glitch. We didn't expect, the Uncharted level of fun, but when it's all said and done, you don't want the experience ruined by, the unknown. You see what I did there? Yeah. So if you're going to get the game for your kiddo, I'd say sit down and help out when you can. You just might enjoy it. Or perhaps, you'll be lost like Tad, who, in hindsight, never really was lost.